Hello, welcome to this video. So today we have a giant city that we're gonna go to the moon. So it took me a while to build this, and it's gonna be pretty laggy when we land on the moon, so just a warning. And I've decided to name this city the City of England, because if you remember, there's that part in It's Every Day, Bro, and where he says that England is a city, so I'm gonna make fun of him by doing this, of Nick Crompton. And so the reason I built this is because my friend, his YouTube channel is The Golden Fish Shop. I'll put the link in the description. He challenged me to send a city to the moon. And so I built this city in low Earth orbit. It's supposed to be to scale if a person were the size of like the 3 of those little like cube thingies, the little cube struts. And so it's to scale if a person were that big. And so it's really big. And the solar panels on most of the buildings, it does have those 2 little solar arrays, but most of the buildings, they're supposed to be windows. So I was being kind of creative with those. And I'll probably do Apollo-17 next week for a video, and then I'll go back to the 1950s or whenever Sputnik was launched, back to the Soviet Union. Then I'll do the Soviet space, because I just did the American space program, or I haven't finished it yet, but after I finish the American space program, I'll do the Soviet space program, which will be pretty cool. So I had to use a lot of the Oberth effect here. I don't really know how many orbits I did to do the Oberth effect, but a lot. It took a really long time to do this. So we're just doing one of our translunar injection burns here. It's not very fast, and it's kind of efficient. I had to do some fuel transfers. Luckily, a lot of the buildings are just big fuel tanks with solar panels. So we had a lot of extra fuel. And we're just doing some fuel transfers and making sure that the engines don't go out, because if one goes out, then we'll start spinning, and then if the other one goes out, then we just won't be able to get anywhere, which is not good. We want to go to the moon. And we're orbiting again. As you can see, we're raising our apoapsis at each orbit. What the Oberth effect is burning at the lowest point in your orbit, because you're already going really fast, because that's also the fastest point in your orbit, so you already have that extra speed, and it gives you kind of a boost. So then you can raise your apoapsis easier. This is kind of actually like what the Beresheet lunar lander did, the one that just crashed on the moon. That was a cool lander too. It's too bad that it crashed on the moon, but it's still cool that they got into orbit. What it did is it made many passes by the Earth and then kept burning its engine. It did the same thing kind of to get into lunar orbit, which is pretty cool. So we're just doing more apoapsis burning to raise our apoapsis. Once it gets high enough, it'll go a lot faster, the apoapsis will, and then we can time warp to the moon, but we still have a few more passes to do before that. So we're just burning those engines. I like how the exhaust of these engines looks, because it's blue and it has the cool pressure diamond things. But they're supposed to be kind of efficient, but they're not super duper efficient. They're about the same thrust and efficiency as the what are they called? Like the Hawk engines or something? They're the black ones that are kind of the most powerful ones that you start the game off with. I think at some point in this I just got or maybe it was when I went to the moon where I was just getting bored, so I just used the main Falcon engines. I don't know if those are what they're called. I'd use the main engines that are used for the moon landing to just raise the apoapsis or get into orbit fast enough. So we're doing more fuel transfers. The apoapsis is starting to raise a lot faster. Now you can see we have our closest approach, which means that we'll be done with this burn soon. So our apoapsis is 3,500 kilometers away from the moon. And we're almost there. Just a little tweak, so we're there. And almost, it's starting to go away. We need to turn it a bit. There we go. Now it's going back towards the moon. We don't want it to go away from the moon, that would be bad. And it's almost there. There we go. We're going to make it closer to the moon so it's easy to get into orbit. And we time warped. So I cut the video so you didn't have to watch just me time warping. But so what we're doing here is we're slowing down our velocity so the moon captures us in its orbit. And there's my iPad glitching. And now we have a screen recording saved. And this is when I just wanted, well, we weren't slowing down fast enough, so I just started using the main engines. So you can see we have those big engines there. And we're almost in lunar orbit. And there we go. And so we need to slow down even more to get into a good lunar orbit, like a circular one. Because we don't really want to be in an elliptical orbit, because that's not very good for landing. So we're going to slow ourselves down even more. And we're slowing down a lot quicker this time. And there's my iPad glitching again. This iPad's pretty glitchy. So, apoapsis below 200. And we're going to raise our periapsis a bit now. So we can time warp. And we're going to lower our apoapsis now. We're going to time warp. iPad glitching again. Okay, we're almost in a good orbit, then we can land. And we're out of fuel. You see, that's why I was transferring fuel, but no, I forgot. Uh-oh, that side's been hogging all the fuel. Well, we're in a good orbit, so we could probably just go ahead and land. Or switch to the moon base. Or switch to the lander, the beer sheet lander. Or switch to the random spacecraft orbiting the moon. Or switch to the space station, or switch to the city. Okay, now we're gonna go in for our landing. This is probably the most dangerous part because this thing's so heavy. In fact, I'm pretty sure we actually blew up one of the engines landing. England is my city. So we're gonna time warp. Don't know why I didn't just time warp to 5,000 meters, but well, we've untime warped, so we might as well slow ourselves down a bit. Okay, now we can't time warp ourselves anymore though. So we'll just keep slowing ourselves down so we don't crash into the moon. Because we don't want England to crash into the moon. though there's no one on the city. I actually built a, transport ship, and I intended to fly it to the city once I had landed and land on those landing pads, which are the things that are connected to the engines. But it was too laggy, and every time I switched to it, it just lagged the entire game and crashed the game. So I couldn't do that. So it's just there now. Uh-oh. Slow down, slow down, slow down. And then I decided, no, I want to go back up now. But I was trying to get to that landing space back there because it was flat. So I went really far up, and this is when it started getting laggy because I was right near the moon. So this is going to be a bit slow, and then I accidentally separated part of one of the buildings. You can just see it floating away there. This is going to be kind of laggy. Once I ignited the engines after this, it literally dropped down to one frame every 30 seconds. So it's about to get laggy in here. And now we're trying to land on that little part right there. Yeah, see, it's really laggy now. And this is sped up ×2, I think. So it was even more laggy when I was actually doing it. And anytime I pressed a button, it would take a few minutes for it to do what I told it to. So let's just watch the frames go by. You can see our speed's a bit fast, so something's probably going to blow up. My guess is one of the engines. And you can hear my neighbors going by in their motorized vehicles. Oh, we landed. I guess I fast forward. England is my city. Oh, right. What actually happened was that I finally did land and one of the engines blew up, but I forgot to press record. My iPad had glitched out and I didn't press record. And I wasn't going to go redo that because it was so laggy. But I hope you enjoyed, so thanks for watching.